Now, when Napoleon began his invasion of Russia on June the 24th of 1812, the Russians faced a daunting challenge. Napoleon commanded a formidable army of well over 250,000 men, far outnumbering the Russian forces. Now, the plan of Russian General Mikhail Bogdanovich Barclay de Tolly was to slowly withdraw eastward, inflicting enough damage on Napoleon's forces without becoming mired in any sort of decisive engagement. To make matters worse for the French troop, Barclay ordered Russian farms and villages to be destroyed as the Russians retreated, which forced the French to rely on an ever-lengthening supply line as they advanced. Now, despite the success of this strategy, the constant retreats and scorched earth tactics made Barclay unpopular with the Russian troops and people, and he was replaced by the one-eyed General Mikhail Kutuzov in mid-August. Kutuzov acknowledged the success of Barclay's strategy, which had drastically reduced the size of Napoleon's forces through both starvation and disease. But he also realized that his army would eventually have to make a stand, and he chose the village of Borodino, about 100 kilometers or 60 miles west of Moscow, as the site of this stand. Beginning on the 3rd of September, Russian troops began to build earthworks. Now, this included a great redoubt in the center right of the proposed Russian line, 3 arrow-shaped earthworks, which were nicknamed the Flèches by the French, on the left side of the line, and a final earthwork well in front of the lines at Shevardino, which was there to delay the French troops. 2 days later, Napoleon's army arrived. Both sides were roughly equal in size and armaments. The Russians would be on the defensive, while Napoleon was tasked with crushing them to make his way to Moscow. His first task was to eliminate the forward fortification at Shevardino, and he ordered forces from his right flank to advance. And by late evening, after very heavy fighting, he pushed the Russian forces back to their main line. Now, to get a size of the magnitude of the battle, this small action of the conflict claimed nearly 10,000 casualties. Both sides spent the 6th of September sizing up their foe and preparing for battle. Kutuzov would command about 150,000 troops and 637 guns. He commanded from the center, while he entrusted his left flank to Prince Pyotr Bagration and his right flank to former commander Barclay de Tolly. And while Napoleon's army had been reduced due to the depredations of the long march to Moscow, the emperor was able to muster about 130,000 troops and 587 artillery pieces. Generals under Napoleon's command were kind of a who's who of Napoleonic-era leaders, including Marshals Davout, Ney, and Murat to the south, and Grouchy in the center. And while a plan was proposed by Davout to make a flanking maneuver around the southern part of the Russian line, Napoleon held to the rather unimaginative idea of a frontal assault against the entire enemy line. Next day, the Battle of Borodino began improper at 6 a.m. with the opening of an artillery barrage against the Russian center. Meanwhile, Davout personally led an assault on the 3 Flèches of the Russian left flank. And despite having his horse shot out from under him, he continued to bravely command his forces, taking the Flèches by 7:30. However, Prince Bagration then led a Russian assault to retake them, followed by Marshal Ney moving forward and again driving the Russians out. Bagration, who had little love for his fellow commander Barclay, to the north, calling for reserves, who were then quickly sent south. Now, French forces made 7 assaults on the Flèches. Artillery fire and musket volleys caused massive carnage, and as the battle wore on, fighting devolved into a savage hand-to-hand combat as troops stumbled over piles of dead and wounded and tried to get their bearings in the clouds of smoke. At noon, Bagration was mortally wounded by shrapnel and had to be carried from the battle, and this led to an instant loss of morale against the fatigued and bloodied Russian troops and forced them to abandon the Flèches. Now, with the Flèches under French control, Marshal Murat attacked the Russian left flank. In a masterclass of combined arms warfare, he maneuvered cavalry, artillery, and infantry in a coordinated assault that drove the southern flank back and allowed him to take the town of Semyonovskaya. Now, over the same period of time, another fight was also being waged in the Russian center. After the 6 a.m. artillery barrage, Prince Eugene moved his 4th Corps forward to take the village of Borodino, and then move against the great Revsky redoubt at the heart of the Russian line. Now, while the French were able to cross the Kalatsha River, they eventually had to retreat back due to heavy losses. Eugene was able to bring artillery forward to the village, however, where he laid down heavy flanking fire on the redoubt. Now, during the carnage taking place before them, both commanders showed kind of a laissez-faire style of leadership. Now, Kutuzov preferred to let Bagration and Barclay handle their separate operations, and with the loss of Bagration, however, he had to take more control of his battered left flank. Napoleon, who was suffering from both exhaustion and a severe head cold, remained uncharacteristically cautious. And with the mauling of the Russian flanks, his subordinates urged him to bring his reserve of elite old guards forward to decisively crush the enemy. However, the emperor demurred, preferring to safeguard them for another day. Now, for most of the day, the Russian right flank had been idle. Barclay occupied a majority of his time sending units south to reinforce the center and left flank. Now, the one exception to this was a raid by Cossack cavalry around the French northern flank and against the troops in the village of Borodino. And while the Russians were eventually driven back, it did delay the next major French thrust for 2 hours. Finally, at 3 p.m., the French launched a massive final attack against the Revsky redoubt. French cavalry were able to thrust deep enough into the line to outflank the redoubt and attack it from behind, where the fortifications were open. The redoubt finally fell, and Eugen's infantry pushed beyond it, only stopping when they were checked by the last Russian cavalry reserves. By 5 p.m., the battle was winding down. And while both forces remained on the field, the level of fatigue was overwhelming. Infantry were simply too tired to load and fire their weapons, horses were unable to run faster than a trot, and artillery were running low on powder and shot. That night, Kutuzov decided that discretion was the better part of valor, and he retreated from the field. And it was a wise decision, as he was able to keep an intact army in the field with the aid of reserves that would soon pour in from the east. Now, the carnage of the battle was unbelievable, with it being the single bloodiest day of fighting of the Napoleonic era. Around 58,000 Russian troops lay dead and wounded, while the French army lost around 35,000. Now, remember that for the French soldiers, any sort of moderate to serious wound was a death sentence, as adequate medical care or even basic provisions like food were nowhere to be found. Historian Gwyn Dyer compared the carnage at Borodino to a fully loaded 747 crashing, with no survivors, every 5 minutes for 8 hours. On the 14th of September, Napoleon finally entered Moscow. However, his triumph was hollow. The city was evacuated and burned by the fleeing Russians. Tsar Alexander I refused to sign a peace treaty with the emperor, and so on October 19th, the French army began the long, slow retreat westward. With his supply lines broken, all manner of forage destroyed, and constant raids by Russian partisans, Napoleon's sick, wounded, and starving troops trudged westward. First, the roads turned to mud, then the temperatures dropped, and the snows came. Of the 600,000 soldiers that Napoleon had set out with that previous summer, only 100,000 at most returned. Napoleon himself summed up the Battle of Borodino and its ambiguous outcome, writing, "The French showed themselves worthy of victory and the Russians of being invincible." Alrighty, this week's game is the Battle of Borodino, Napoleon in Russia, 1812. And it was produced by SPI Games in 1972, and its designer was John Young. So let's hop into the rules here. Each hex on the Borodino map sheet represents about 400 meters of ground from side to side, and each game turn equals about an hour of real time. Now, the following types of terrain features appear on the map. There's woods hexes, which block movement of all units, town hexes, which double the defensive strength of occupying units, road hexes, which allow passage through otherwise impassable wood hexes, river hexsides, which block all zones of control and can only be crossed at fords, bridges, and roads, bridge hexsides, which permit movement across a river and reduce the attacking combat strength by a half, fords, which permit movement across rivers at a penalty and have attacking combat strength, the redoubt hexes, which increase defensive strength of the occupying units and also have their own attack factor, and finally stream hexsides, which can be crossed at a penalty of 1 but don't affect combat in any way. Now, the numbers and symbols on the units represent their combat strength and movement allowance, as well as the type of military unit. And there are 3 types of units in the game: infantry, cavalry, and artillery. But now, combat strength is the relative strength of a unit with regards to both attack and defense, and it's expressed in terms of strength points. And the movement allowance is the maximum number of hexes which a unit can be moved in a single turn. Now, the deployment maps on the side of the map board show where to place units at the start of play, and note that since I'm demonstrating the 3-day full battle, only Russian units are placed on the map at the beginning, as the French units haven't arrived yet. Now, the game's played over 3 days with 42 turns, and each day is divided on the turn track into 1-hour intervals from 0600 to 1900, as well as 2 night turns, which are in blue. Now, historically, nothing happened on the second day of battle, so I've just gone ahead and gone with the rule that during the second day of battle, both sides can only engage in night moves and can't actually move into zones of control or fight any sort of combat. Now, each turn has a specific sequence of play, It begins with the first step, which is the French movement phase, followed by a French combat phase, then a Russian movement phase, followed by a Russian combat phase, followed by moving the turn marker ahead 1 hour. Now, during the movement phase, a player can move as many or as few units as they like, moving them in any direction or combination of directions. And units can move up to their movement allowance, with each hex costing 1 movement point to enter. Now, as I mentioned before, rivers can't be crossed at other than fords or bridges. It does cost a unit 2 additional movement points to cross a river through a ford hexside, while bridge hexsides can be crossed without penalty. Now, stream hexsides can be crossed anywhere. However, to move through a stream hexside costs 1 additional movement point, except when you're crossing it on a road. And movement in non-road wood hexes is not allowed, though units may travel along roads through wood hexes. Now, units can also move through hexes occupied by friendly units, but not through or into hexes occupied by enemy units. And units can't end their movement on hexes with other friendly or enemy units. Thus, in this game, units cannot stack with each other. Now, the zones of control in the game are sticky, and units entering an enemy zone of control have to stop for the turn and can't leave that zone of control, or move for that matter, unless the enemy unit exerting the zone of control is either retreated or destroyed. And zones of control don't extend across river hexsides, but they do extend across stream hexsides. Also, zones of control don't extend across a bridge or ford crossing a river hexside. Combat's real simple. To resolve it, you compare the total strength of all attacking units to that of the adjacent defending unit. And the attacker-defender ratio is simplified, rounding off in favor of the defender to conform to the odds given on the combat results table. And now a die roll is made by the attacking player, and the result is read from the appropriate line on the combat results table. Also, all friendly units which are adjacent enemy units must participate in an attack during the combat phase of the player's turn. Now, the attacking player can resolve attacks in any order as long as they attack all adjacent enemy units. And the attacking player can choose which attacking units will attack which defending units, again, as long as all of these units that are adjacent participate in an attack. Now, no defending unit can be attacked more than once per turn, nor can any attacking unit attack more than once per turn. However, more than one attacking unit can participate in an attack against a single defending unit. Also, a single attacking unit may make an attack against 2 or more defending units to which it's adjacent, with the combat strength of the defenders totaled into 1 combat strength to which the attacking unit compares its strength to determine the combat odds. Now, players can use this to their advantage by deliberately making attacks at poor odds in order to make adjacent attacks against other defenders at higher odds. The results of the combat table are pretty straightforward. An AE means the attacker's been eliminated and you remove it from the map. An AR means the attacker's retreated back 1 hex. In an exchange, or EX, the defending unit's eliminated and the attacking unit suffers a loss at least equal in terms of strength points to that of the defender. Now, only those attacking units directly involved in that particular attack can be used to make up this equal exchange of strength point losses. And this will sometimes mean that the attacker will be forced to lose more combat strengths than the defender. A DR means the defender retreats, again back 1 hex, and a DE means the defender's eliminated. Now, when units are forced to retreat, the victorious player decides in which direction they'll be retreated within the following restrictions. Units can't retreat into enemy zones of control, off the map, into non-road woods hexes, or into enemy-occupied hexes. And if no path of retreat's open to the retreating unit, aside from those forbidden hexes that I described above, then the retreating unit's eliminated and it's immediately removed from the map. Now, in some cases with retreats, if the only safe hex available to the retreating unit is one that's already occupied by another uninvolved friendly unit, then the uninvolved unit's displaced. That is, it's pushed out of its hex by the retreating unit. It's essentially moved back by the victorious player as if it were retreating and its position was being taken by the original retreating unit. Now, the displaced unit itself cannot be forced into enemy zones of control, woods, or off the map. And if the displacement would cause the uninvolved unit to be eliminated in this fashion, the retreating unit is instead eliminated and no displacement takes place. Now, displaced units can themselves displace other friendly units in sort of a chain reaction of displacement, in which they in turn go to the only safe place of displacement that's open to them. Now, artillery units which are displaced and have not yet engaged in combat during the combat phase cannot then fire in that combat phase. And units may not be forced to displace other friendly units if they have other paths of retreat open to them. Now, whenever, as a direct result of combat, an enemy unit's thrown back or retreated, or it's removed from play, as that is eliminated, the victorious unit can then advance into the hex that was formerly occupied by the defeated force. Now, retreating and advancing due to combat's not considered a part of regular movement, and it's not counted in any way as an expenditure of movement points. And an advance can be made even if the advancing unit's in an enemy unit's zone of control. Now, advancing units can't participate in another attack or defense in the combat phase in which they advance, even if their advances place them next to an enemy unit whose battle has yet to be resolved. Now, artillery can either fight adjacent units or bombard a unit from up to 2 hexes away. And if enemy units are adjacent, they must fight those units. However, bombardment attacks are always optional. Now, artillery units are never destroyed or forced to retreat when bombarding a unit, although they are affected by all combat results when they're adjacent to the unit being attacked. Of course, other units cooperating with the bombarding unit from an adjacent position, including adjacent artillery units, would be affected by negative combat results caused by an attack. Now, artillery units can always attack alone. They can attack in concert with other artillery units or in concert with infantry and or cavalry units. Also, artillery units can fire over intervening units, either enemy or friendly, as well as town hexes in order to attack from that 2-hex distance. They can't fire over wood hexes or down road hexes that are in woods, and they can also fire over all types of river hexsides. Now, if a unit's destroyed or retreated by an attacking artillery, which is not adjacent to the defender, the attacking artillery does not advance. Now, one way the rules of this game differ from the rules of other Napoleon at Waterloo games is the presence of Russian redoubts. Now, redoubts have a zone of control, the same as any combat unit, which extends to the 3 hexes adjacent to the front hex side. And French units have to stop movement when they enter these hexes, and they can't move through or out of them voluntarily. In short, they must attack a unit and a redoubt when they're in this zone of control. Now, like being adjacent to enemy units, the French units have to attack a unit or redoubt when they're in this zone of control. Now, redoubts can freely be entered by French players from the rear, and if no Russian units are in that redoubt. Also, redoubt hexes have an intrinsic combat strength, which can be only used when attacking the 3 hexes adjacent to the front hex side, and the front's represented by the teeth. Redoubt hexes have no combat strength oriented towards the rear. Now, only Russian units can benefit from being in a redoubt. French units never receive any benefit from these hexes. And if no Russian units are in the redoubt hex, the French player can then attack the redoubt itself from the front, where the redoubt essentially has the defensive factor equal to its intrinsic defense. Now, this intrinsic factor is in effect whether the French player is attacking from the front or the rear. And if Russian units in the redoubt are being attacked by French units exclusively through the front of the redoubt, the combat factor of the Russian units are doubled, and the intrinsic factor of the redoubt is added to this Russian defensive factor. If the Russian units in the redoubt are being attacked by French units and the French units are attacking from the rear in any way, even in an attack where the French are attacking from both the front and the rear, the Russian unit's defensive factor is not doubled, but the intrinsic factor of the redoubt is added to the Russian defensive factor. Artillery attacks against units in a redoubt or the redoubt itself are handled in the same fashion as attacks by infantry and cavalry, whether firing at a distance of 1 or 2 hexes. And if an artillery unit's firing through the front hex sides, any Russian units in the redoubt are still doubled for defensive purposes. If it's firing through the rear, the unit in the redoubt's not doubled. Intrinsically, the redoubts are never affected by any combat result. They can't retreat and they can't advance. However, when a combat result is inflicted on the redoubt, which, if it were a unit, would result in permitting the attacker to advance, the attacker can then advance into that redoubt hex. Now, if at the end of any Russian player turn there's a French unit in a redoubt hex, that redoubt is considered destroyed and the appropriate markers placed on the hex. After that point, the redoubt's treated in the same manner as a clear hex. However, the Russians can rebuild these during the night movement turn by simply having a Russian unit in that hex during the night. Reinforcements are pretty straightforward. They're located on the turn track, and these are brought in on the turn indicated on one of the hexes indicated on the turn track, and the players have the choice of which hex in the group of hexes they wish to come in on. Now, between each day of battle, there are 2 game turns of night, and players continue moving in the same sequence as during the day battles, except that movement's restricted and combat's forbidden. So during the night phase, no units can move to within 3 hexes of an enemy unit, and any unit which begins its movement phase within 3 hexes or less of an enemy unit can only move into hexes which are further from an enemy unit. Now, if a unit's adjacent to an enemy unit at the end of the 1900 turn, they can move out of the adjacent hex during either of the 2 movement phases. And if they don't move out of the hex, they're not required to attack. In the game, the French win a decisive victory if they move 60 combat points off the east edge of the map between the 2 roads. And they win a substantial victory if they're able to destroy twice the number of Russian combat points as they've lost. That's a minimum of 40 Russian combat points. And the French win a marginal victory if they occupy or destroy all of the redoubt hexes by the end of the game. Now, the Russian player wins a marginal victory if they occupy all the redoubt hexes at the end of the game, and they win a substantial victory if they take fewer combat point losses than the French at the end of the game, and they win a decisive victory if they fulfill both of these conditions. Alrighty, so this is Borodino, and I think I've got everything set up here. I've got all the Russian units in. Now, obviously the French units aren't here yet. They're going to be arriving, and that's where we're going to start with game turn 1. It's noon on the 5th. And these French units are going to come in down in B, so I can choose any of the B hexes here to move those into. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we will get started moving them into battle. I think the French, this is going to be just like the historical game that we're going to, as the French, we're going to try to take Borodino, and at the same time the Russians are basically going to try to build their line here between the Great Redoubt and the Flèches. Okay, and we're kind of limited in the amount of movement we have in this area, so that's going to be the real challenge. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All these basically cavalry are showing up. Don't have enough to get across the stream there, and there we go. Pretty even going. Okay, now let's reinforce Borodino. I think I'm going to pull this guy back, and I'm going to build a defensive line through here. I might try to bring a guy forward here. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and then I think we're going to try to move over here. 1, 2, 3. Over at Utitsa, I think we're going to try to keep him from flanking. Then I've got all this mess up here I've got to sort out. I'm going to use the river for defensive function, and to do that, let's start at Borodino itself. Let's move this guy through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3. We'll move him into place here, and then I'm going to put an artillery piece here, and then I can use that to defend at the river there. Way out here, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll put a guy here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A guy here. Let's move some of these guys out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see who else I've got that's pretty. Those are my two big units here. Gonna move this guy 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got to try to remember that river. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Played this numerous times, and I can tell you the Russians always have a tough go of it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Gonna try to move this guy over here. So but I think I've moved everybody here, and so that's going to be the entirety of turn 1. Everybody's moved into position. We move to turn 2, And I haven't been flipping the Russian game turn counter. I hope that doesn't throw everybody. Okay. French, bring in their guys. Again, they're coming in on B. Just another wave of French units. And one, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I like that guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might as well get these guys engaged early on. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Okay. There we go. I think I could try to move these guys forward a little bit, but I don't think that's going to work too much. Okay. Moving into place here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to, oh, wait. Got to resolve some combat here. So I'm going to go 2 to 1 here, and I get a 2. 2 to 1 with the 2 is a defender retreat, so we'll move him back and we will press the advantage. Here's 1 to 2. 1 to 2 with a 5 is an attacker retreat, and I'm going to press the advantage there. Okay, that's it for the French turn. Russian turn, move him into place. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Move him into place and him into place and him into place. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. We got that 10 into place. I think I'll put these 2 cavalry on the flank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, over here, move this guy into this position, and this guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 4, 5. I guess that's all further he can go. Okay, now these guys are going to move in. I got some artillery I need to move. Now I've got 5 there, so I need to move my other guy here. 1, 2, 3. I'll keep a cavalry back here, and I think actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to keep a cavalry back here just to. I know the French are probably going to try to. He's going to go there. The French are probably going to try to flank me this way, and so I'm going to have a cavalry or 2 to maybe surround people. This is at least gives me a lot of room to maneuver. Okay, this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. He can't go anywhere. Okay, over here. 1. Okay, we've worked our way around this way. Now I can make some attacks. I got to attack here at 1 to 1 odds, and we get 1 to 1 with the 2, pushing him back. Again, I think I'll move there. That comes out to be advantageous. Now here I've got 2, and I've got to attack both of those guys. So it's going to be 1 to 2 odds with a 4, which is an AR. So that moves me back here. Now, this vassal module has an issue with moving units. You can see now this guy's he's stuck. So what you got to do to fix that is go in and hit this refresh counter and run it. I think that does it. Okay. Now over here I've got a 6, and then I can also use my artillery to barrage. So it's going to be 6, 8 to 2, 4 to 1 odds. 4 to 1 with a 4 is going to be a defender retreat. So that moves him back. And I'm going to stay put here. So that should be just about it. Now, I've still got this guy to worry about, but I think we'll be okay. Okay, that ends turn 2. So we go to turn 3. And we're going to pull these guys in. These guys again start in B. And we're going to put him... Oops. Get these guys separated out. Okay, let's start with the guys in front first. One, two, three, four, and then he'll move into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And then we'll move this guy down here. These two are going to attack here from the side. And then we can start bringing in our reinforcements here. 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now we have 2 to 1 odds with a 6. 2 to 1 with the 6 is an attacker retreat. I'll move into position there. Okay, here we have 3 to 1 odds with a 3. Defender retreat, so that moves back, and we will scrunch in there. And then I've got 2, 4 to 6, 1 to 2 odds with a 1. Okay, that's kind of helpful because that's going to push this guy back. Actually, we're going to push him here and here. And because as the French player, he'd probably be better off here where he can do a little less damage. And we will move... I think I'll move in place here. Well, no, I won't. I'll stay put. Okay, and that's it for the French move and fight. Now the Russians are going to go. We'll set up a defensive area over here. 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll set up there. And I'm going to move this guy up and over 1. That'll move there. And then here and here. Let's see. I got artillery here. I've got artillery. I need an artillery towards the center. Whoop. Okay. Forgot about that poor guy up there. And then this 2 to 4 guy will move in place here. Okay, and that should, then we can have that guy attack here, 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 here. Okay. So let's start here with our 1 to 1 odds. 1 to 1 with the 6 is going to be an attacker retreat, but since it's an artillery, it's not going to do anything. Okay, here we've got 2 to 4. 1 to 2 odds. 1 to 2 with a 1. Oh, perfect. Okay, move here and move in. Then I'm going to go 1 to 1 odds with a 5. That's an attacker retreat. Move back, and I will move forward. And then 1 to 1 here with a 6. That's going to move him back. So, and yeah, we will move in there. Okay, French did pretty well during the Russian attack, actually. Now the French are going to bring in 3 units. This is turn 4. These all go into B, and now at this point, I'm going to come in and attack with this 7 and this 5 and this 2. So we're going to go here, 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 here. Well, this guy's really not doing anything, and he's really not a threat at this point. So let's go ahead and maybe we can nullify that guy a little bit. Where are we going to start? I'm going to start here with, oh, and these guys got to come in. Move those guys in. One, two, three, four. And I probably should have waited. But that's okay. We'll have another turn if we can replace units that we lose in this. If I go here, that's going to cause some pushing and shoving. We're going to have to go with these three because I want to nullify that redoubt. And then here he's going to have to go against those, so he'll probably get wiped out in that attack, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and start with this one here. I've got 2 and 5 is 7, so 14. Now I nullify the redoubt because I'm coming in from this side, so basically I'm going to have 5 and then these 2 7 units. I think that's how it works. The redoubt units conflict a little bit within themselves. So 2 to 1 odds, and I get a 4 at 2 to 1 is a defender retreat. Okay, that works out well. Move him here and him here. And we will move, and I think I can move in there. So I'm going to do that. Oops, I'm going to do it with the 7. Okay, then here he's going to be 2 against a 8. So 1 to 4 odds. The only thing that would help was if he rolled a 1, which he didn't. So he's eliminated. First unit eliminated is this French unit. I think my artillery, I'll keep him protected back here. Okay, here we've got 4 to 2, 2 to 1 odds with a 2. Defender retreat. This guy can't go anywhere. If he can't go there, he can't go there, so he is eliminated. Move in. Here I've got 1 to 1 odds with a 5. Is attacker retreat. And then here I've got 1 to 1 odds with a 6. Attacker retreat. Okay. That's the Russian turn. So the real question at this point is, I think I've pretty much lost Borodino. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 turns left. It's going to give the French time to get up here. So the French may be able to push the advantage on the first day. Let's see what we can do. Okay. I think I'll try to move some cavalry into place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gonna at least try to slow the French down. Okay, these guys have got to... Okay. Going to move him, and I think I'll bring this 6 down to Borodino. Okay, that's it for the Russian units. Push my mic back a little bit. So let's go ahead and we're going to start the fight against this guy at 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 with a 3 is a defender retreat, so going to move him back, and we will fall back into this position. And then I'm going to use these 2, so that's 8 to 7, 1 to 1 odds with a 6. Okay, that pushes him back here. And then 1-to-1 here with a 4. 1-to-1 with a 4 is an attack or retreat. Okay, that moves him back. And yeah, we'll take the city. Okay, that's the end of the Russian turn. Now, since it's the end of the Russian turn and the French are in the redoubt, it is gone. So they spend their turn tearing that up. And that's the end of that turn. So we go to it's 4 p.m. or 1600. We'll bring these guys in B. The French are going to get to go again. One, two, three. You just never have quite enough space to, yeah, he's going to be able to pressure him there. Okay, let's see. And that should be it for the French units, I think. So we'll hit the move button here, and then we're going to figure, I think we'll start our attack here, and then we're going to go against this guy, and then finally we'll go against him. So we can start with 9, 10, 11, and 18 to 4. 4-to-1 odds. 4-to-1 with a 3 is a defender retreat, so that eliminates him. And yeah, we'll move in. Okay, and then here I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5. 1-to-1 with a 4 is an attacker retreat. So the attackers all have to move back. And then finally here 1-to-1 odds with a 5, and that's another attacker retreat. Okay, that does free the Russians up to, again, move backwards here. So I think, like I said, I'm going to try to make a second line here. So we'll move this guy into place here. Okay, we need a 1, 2, 3. I think I'll put him here. Yeah, I'll put him here. He's a little more protected there. Let's see, I've got a guy here, got a guy here. I need a guy here. Okay, all the units have gone. So again, I've built this Russian lineup. I've got a primary line here, followed by the redoubts. So hopefully, again, that'll slow the French down a little bit. Okay, French turn. Bring in still more. They just keep coming here. Let's go ahead and I think the weak point's going to be here. So we're going to try to move as quickly as we can against that weak point. We're going to 1, 2, 3, 4. Move our 5 here, 5 here. I do need to do something about this flank up here. we'll hold it, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. We can at least keep that blocked. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down here, 4 and 3. And okay, that's it for the French move. Now we can do our combats. Combat's going to be 2, 4 to 2, 2 to 1 odds with a 4. It's a defender retreat, so moves him back. And I'll move there. No, I'll stay put there. Okay, I think we're going to go here with a 14 to 2. That's 6 to 1, so that's automatically going to eliminate this guy. And that's going to move him into position here. And then we're going to go 5 to 2, 2 to 1 odds there with a 2. 2 to 1 with a 2 is a defender retreat. And we will move into place there. And then 4 to 5, 1 to 2 odds. With a 6, 1 to 2 with a 6 is an attacker eliminated. Well, that was unfortunate. But we don't really want to go there. Can't really do anything with him. Okay, here I've got a 2 to 6, 1 to 3 odds with a 5. Attacker eliminated. And here I've got 7 to 2, 3 to 1 odds with a 6 in exchange. So, yeah, that was unfortunate for the French. They just lost quite a few units to him. So, okay, I think that's it for that attack. And then it's up to the Russians. Well, I've got an opening here. 2, 3, 4, 5. We can take that guy. That guy's there, and this guy's in place. This guy's in place. Actually, we're going to move him in here, and we're going to actually go ahead and go 1, 4. This could be a huge mistake, but it'll at least buy us a little bit of time. I think I can move through that redoubt hex that way. I think I can go that way. Through the front. We'll see. I think I'm going to be kind to the Russians here. Okay, I think that's going to be it. Let's start over here. 6 to 5, 1 to 1 odds. 1 to 1 with a 6 is an attacker retreat. So move him back here, and we will stay put there. Okay. Over here, I've got a... we're going to move everything I can against this guy, I think. 2 and 6 is 8, 9, 10, 15, 20 to 7. So 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 with a 1 is a defender retreat. Oh, that hurt the French. Okay. Not going to move any more into that. Now I've got a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1 to 1 odds here. With a 6 is an attacker retreat. Move him back, and back. And I think I'll stay put there. Here I've got a 4-2. 2-1 odds with a 5 is an exchange. Yeah. And then here I've got a 10, 15, 19-2, 6-1. So that eliminates him. Okay. And that's going to be the end of the Russian turn. We'll go to this here. Okay, the strategy of falling back actually kind of worked. They had the kind of the Fabian strategy, I guess. Okay, he's stuck. No, no reinforcements this turn. Okay, the French just got kind of schnockered on that one. As the French player, I will go 2-5, 1-3 odds with a 5. It's an attacker eliminated. Probably shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. Okay, and we will defend from there. Here I've got a 5, 7-5, 1-1 odds with a 6, moves him back, and I think he can't go anywhere. So he's lost. And then here I've got 3-1 odds, 3-1 with a 4 as a defender retreat, back, and back, and then here 5, 7, and 6, 13-3. 4-1 odds with a 4. 4-1 with a 4 is a defender retreat, so he's eliminated. And that's the end of the French turn. So now it's the Russian turn. He's stuck here. We'll stay put there. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, I guess. I think I can go through that redoubt if I'm the Russians. I don't remember its effect on movement for that. Essentially, we're going to lick our wounds. Okay, he's stuck. Everybody else is kind of in position here. Okay, I think I got everybody moved back into position where I want them. Going to move him back in the woods and him back there. And the only thing I've got is a 2-1 attack here, which 2-1 at a 4 is a defender retreat. So that's going to retreat him. And I think that's going to be about... Actually, I'm going to go here, and that's going to force him into attacking at 1-5 odds, which should eliminate him. Okay, everybody's gone, so we go to turn 8. A lot of French units show up at this time. So these guys are coming in on A. Oops, these two are on B. These guys are on C. B, B, C, and C. So let's move these guys down to C. We'll move these guys to B, and we'll move this guy to A. Okay. Haha, we'll sneak around on him here. We're on the night turn, so we're going to have to pull back anyway. Now, when they say 3 hex, they have to be 3 hexes away. So I'm going to say this. Basically, they have to be outside of artillery range. So. And then these guys are coming in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4. 4 and 3. Okay, and then the only attack we have is this guy. He's going to be at 1, so it's going to be 2 to 5. 1 to 3 odds with the 2 is an attacker retreat. Okay. Actually, I'm going to follow up on this guy. And the Russian turn, everybody's going to stay put. Okay, 6 to 1 odds will eliminate him finally. And then 5 to 2 odds. 2 to 1 with a 4. Defender retreat, and I think at this point I'm not going to chase him any further. So that's pretty much it for the Russians. We go to night turns. Now we'll start with the French. Here, and we've got to back out a little bit. Okay. So the French still have their center. Russians are going to go back up here and whoops, did it again here. And move him into place here. We'll move here, here, and here. And this guy will move here. Okay. Now, second night turn. French are going to here. Yeah, I don't know if I really like the 3 hex. It seems like all the other Napoleon at Waterloo games on night turns they just have to stay out of the zones of control. I may be mixing that up with blue and gray games, but it seems like it's a little bit draconian. Okay, and we'll go up here. And that is the end of the first day. So we'll play the second day here in just a second. And we're on to September the 6th. So we'll move our game turn marker. Now, I want to keep this as historical as possible. So I'm just going to leave this on night turns for the day. Basically, what happened in real life was Napoleon brought his units in, and both sides just kind of sized each other up and arranged their lines, and there was no action until the 7th. And I'm going to try to stay with that. Otherwise, the French units can go ahead and start attacking, and pretty much the game will be over by the end of the 6th in that case, one way or the other. But like I said, I'm going to try to keep it fairly historically accurate in this case. I think this was probably a mistake on the part of the design. They probably should have allowed the French player to bring their units in, arrange their line, and then just moved on to another turn. But we'll at least play through the turns. So the French player's going to go. I think we're going to try to keep this guy here, and again we have to stay at least 3 hexes away. So that means that 2 hex distance. I had this guy up here and I moved him down. So these guys can't move. For now, let's just keep this guy in place. All these guys are in place. We'll try to kind of move our tougher units in. And that's going to be the 0600 turn. Russians aren't going to have much to do in this. I'm going to go ahead and move this guy here. I might try to strengthen the line a little bit here. I feel a little bit like the line's going to be a little weak in the center. So we'll go ahead and move this guy here. We'll just switch these guys. I mean, you could do it over 2 turns, but it's not going to make a difference. Okay, and that's going to be the turn. We go to this turn. Everybody's staying put. We go to the 0800 turn, and on this turn, coming in on B are these guys. Now, I think with the French, as soon as I get this line strengthened up, I'm also going to want to send some weaker units around and try to get around this French left flank, or the Russian right flank, I guess. And so I'm going to go ahead and move these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we go to game turn, this game turn, and we'll continue moving. Okay, we'll go to the next game turn, and again on B, these guys will come in, these units will come in, and these units will come in. And I'm going to try to patch up some of the holes here. Okay, those guys have moved. Russian units are going to stay the same. And next, these guys are going to come in on A. These units are going to come in on A. These units are going to come in on A slowly. These guys are coming in on B, B, and B. Okay. So let's go ahead and okay, and then okay, we'll move this guy over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Then coming in on here. Okay, and everybody's moved here. Those guys have moved. And Then we can go to a noon turn. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, he can't move into that zone of control. Got to remember that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this guy will move into place here, and then we'll move this guy over here. Okay, and that's going to be the turn. We'll go to the 1300 turn. Okay, move him in here. Not much the Russians can do. We'll go to the next turn. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we can move there. Okay. And this guy will move into position here. 1, 2, 3. That guy will move into position there. And this will move into position here. Okay, I think Napoleon's pretty much got his line set. The Russians have set their line as well. Oh, okay, I'll make one switch here. There we go. We'll switch that guy around, and we'll switch this guy here, that guy there. Everybody's about as good. The Russians still are a little bit thin on guys. So I think at that point we're going to go, oh, he's got to move. Oh, he can move there because of that. And then we can go, I guess here we go to the next one, and we'll stay put there. I don't remember. I think actually do okay. Oh, zones of control don't go across bridges, so he can go here. He can go here, 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 and here, and then this guy's gonna just wait up here. There we go, and there we go. Okay, so then pretty much the French have arranged their lines. I'm going to go ahead, and we are going to go through all of these turns, and we're going to come to the 7th. We're just going to skip ahead, and we are ready for the big day. So at 0600, just about the same as the historical time, the French are going to make their move. We're going to move him here, and him here. Actually, we're going to move here because I can stay out of the range of those guns. And here. Up here, we're going to be just moving along the line, and then here, I really want to hit that center. So 3, 4. We'll move this guy here. Here, and whoops. We're going to go here. 4. And we're going to move this guy here, this guy here. Gonna screen these guys. I can move in place there and move this guy here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and move there. We'll move here, and then this guy's going to move up here. He's going to move here, here, and here. Move that. Okay, so I've moved the French units. Now we're going to have to fight it. So we got 1-to-1 odds here with a 5. 1-to-1 with a 5 is going to be a attacker retreat, so that'll pull back. Here we've got 1-to-1 odds with a 1, so that pushes him back, and we will cross the river. 1-to-1 here with a 6, going to move him back. We've got 1-to-1 here with a 3. 1-to-1 with a 3 is a defender retreat, so here. And then 1-to-2. 1-to-2 with a 2. It's going to be attacker retreat. And I'm going to push in right here. No, I'm not. I'm going to stay there. Okay. He can't attack across the river here, but we can attack all of these against 5, 6, 7, 14, 21 to 12. So 1-to-1 odds with a 2, and that's going to push these guys back here and here, and we will move into town there. Okay, over here I've got a 7 and 5, so it's going to be 1-to-1 with a 1, pushing them back. I will stay put. Okay, here we've got a 4 and 11. This is going to be 15, and 7 is 22, and 22 and 8 is 30 to 4. So that's going to be. Do I need all those? Let's see. We need at least 6-to-1. So 24. So 4 and 11. That's 15, and 7 is 22. Yeah, we are, because otherwise we're going to get an exchange. So we're easily going to go 6-to-1 on that, and that'll eliminate him. But at least I don't have the exchange then. I'm not going to step into that quite yet. Okay. 6 to 1-to-1 here. 1-to-1 with a 4 is going to be a attacker retreat. Glad that I shot first. That actually worked out better. Okay, and then 6, 7, 8 to 5. 1-to-1 with a 6. Again, it's another attacker retreat. We'll move him here, here, and here, and I will. Not going to push it. You're stuck against that woodland hex there. So I think we'll go ahead and stay put. Okay, here I've got a 5 to 3, 1-to-1. Except he's in the woods, so it's going to be 5 to 6, 1-to-2. With a 1 okay, that's going to push him back, and he can only go there. I will step in, and then I've got 8, 12 to 3, 4-to-1. 4-to-1 with a 2 is a defender eliminated. So and we will move into town. Okay. So it's been kind of an interesting situation. We're starting, this flank is starting to work here, and if we can move these guys back a little further, then we can start to move the French units around this way. The other issue is that the French units broke through here. So in the next French turn, they may be able to come and hit this flank. So as the Russians, I'm going to have to at least send some units to slow them down. So let's see what we're going to do as the Russians. I think the first thing I want to do is get this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can at least slow him down here, and I'm going to move this 2 around here. Is there any place they're weak? I don't really have a weak spot. Maybe here. The thing is, this 11 is pretty tough, so I think we're going to have to stay stuck on this guy. Going to have to stay defensive here, and we're stuck here. So we've got 1 to 2, and we get a 4, so that's an attacker retreat. Again, I'll stick to him. I've got a 1 to 2 here, 1 to 2 with a 4, same thing. And I'll move him here. Now this is where the French player would move him there. You don't want to move him where he's doubled up. Okay, here I've got to attack across the bridge. I don't actually... he's not in a zone of control. I don't have to attack. I've got 9 to 7. Actually, it's 9 to 14, so we'll stay put there. There's no reason to do that. And then here, 3 to 5. It's going to be 1 to 2 odds, but we're both in the woods, so that's going to be 1 to 4 odds with a 3. An attacker eliminated. Yeah, because he's in the woods and he's in the woods. Leaving him doubled. I guess that's the wood road. Yeah, counted as a town hex. Okay. And yeah, we'll move in. Okay, and that ends the 0600 turn. So it's kind of an interesting situation that's developing here. This is where this game is actually kind of good. I kind of like how this works. I mean, most of these are good. I think the best of the Napoleon at Waterloo type games are this and the... oh gosh, I can't think of the other one. Yeah, it'll hit me here in a little bit. Austerlitz, yeah. Okay. Now we go to 7 o'clock in the morning. The French are going to go, and this time we're going to hit them again here. Well, here, and we're going to go. One, 2, 3, 4. Can't go any further. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think you can go. It's 2 to cross, so that's I think all you can do. It's kind of confusing. Is it 2 to cross at a ford, and then I guess it costs 2 to cross at the streams? Don't cross the streams. Okay, we'll move here, and then here we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we need to figure out what to do here. 1, 2. We'll move him here and him here. I didn't fire at this guy. I should have used him to fire that artillery, but that's okay. He's out of artillery range. They're all out of artillery range. I need to find the weak spot in the line. Well, we want to move this guy here, and then 1, 2, 3, that guy here, and then 1, he can move up here. Here, and here, and here, and here. I just really don't want to take that guy on if I can help it. We'll move our 7 here, our 3 here, our 5 here. And I think I need to keep at least this guy here, just to fill any spaces or anything. Okay, I think that's the French unit moves. We'll start here with a 1-to-1 with a 5, moves him back. Here I've got a 2-to-1, and a 2-to-1 with a 1 is a defender retreat. We'll move him here and again try to keep him pinned. 1-to-1 here with a 3, and that's going to be move him back. Here I've got 2-to-1 with a 6. 2-to-1 with a 6 is an attacker retreat, so he's going to move back across the river. And then here I've got 2-to-1 with a 1, move him back, and again we'll pin him. 1-to-2 with a 3. 1-to-2 with a 3 is an attacker retreat. And then over here I've got a 7, 14, 19 to 6. Attacking across a bridge. They have their combat strength halved. Okay, so, oh wait, he can't attack across the river here. So basically this guy's going to be halved here. He's got a 7 to 6, and let's make it, yeah, we'll say 7 to 6, so that's going to be a 3 to 6, and then a 7, so 10 to 6 is 1-to-1 with a 1, so that knocks him back. And yeah, we want to probably move into that area right there. Okay, over here I've got a 5 and a 7, so 11 to 4, 2-to-1 with a 1. Defender retreat. Oh, wait, hold on. He's in a town. I forgot that. So we'll say 7 and 5 is 12 to 8, so 1-to-1, and I rolled a 1, so it's still going to be that retreat here. We'll move into town. That gives us some protection. Okay, here I've got a we'll attack with these guys first, and then this guy to here. 7, 8, 15, and 6, 21, 5. It's 4-to-1 odds. 4-to-1 with a 3. Defender retreat. And we will move into place here. And then I've got 1-to-1 odds here with a 4. Attacker retreat. I could move into position here, which I'll do, because that's going to isolate him. Okay, then here we've got 4, 8, 12, 13 to 2, 6-to-1 odds, so he's pretty much eliminated. Okay, that looks bad for the, that's going to hurt. Okay, Russians are going to go continue to defend over here. It's about all we can do. Going to pull back here. Whoops. Okay. And then we'll attack here. Everybody's pretty good here. This guy here and this guy in here. Oh, and this guy, we're going to move over here. There, we'll put him right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he did it. Okay. So again, we can at least hold him for another turn. We're actually moving right here. That blocks him, and then he's going to have to go out and around, which is feasible, but okay. Again, it buys me a little time. Let's start up here. 1 to 2 odds. 1 to 2 with a 2 is going to be a attacker retreat. We'll go this way, and yeah, we'll keep chasing him. Okay. We got 1 to 2. Actually, it's 1 to 4 with a 1 is an attacker retreat. We'll cross the river. Here I've got a 5 to 2, 2 to 1 with a 4. Defender retreat. And there we go. Okay. Right here I've got a 3 and a 6. So 9. 13 to 7, 1 to 1 odds with a 3. Pushing him back across the river, and we will take that position again. Here I've got a 10, 14, 23 to 14. So 1 to 1 odds with a 5. That's not good. That moves all of these guys back 1. And I'm going to move into this position here. Okay. Here I've got this 5, 7, 5, 10, 12 to 6. 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 with a 5 is a exchange. Ouch. Okay. And then this guy's going to go 6 to 17. 1 to 3 odds with a 3. And that's going to eliminate him. Okay, and we will move into position there. Okay, and that's the Russian turn. So we go to, it's only 8 o'clock in the morning. The French are going to go, and again we're going to go here and 5. Okay, now we need to go against, we need to move against the fleshes here. So again, this is being fairly realistic. There, that guy came in useful. We'll move in here, and then here, and here, here, 1, 2, 3. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll leave him a little bit of a route in case he has to retreat. Okay, everybody's gone through here. Everybody's out of range there. Let's start up here. We've got a 1, 2 to 1. 2 to 1 with a 3 is going to be a defender retreat, so that eliminates him. He can't go anywhere. We'll go here. We've got 2 to 1 up here with a 6. That's an attacker retreat, and we're going to keep sticking to him. 2 to 1 here with a 4. Defender retreat here. Here I've got a 4 to 1. 4 to 1 with a 1 is going to be a defender eliminated. And oops. I think I got the wrong guy. There. Oh, hold on a second. That would have been 4 to 2. 2 to 1. Because he was in town. It's hard to see that. So anyway, this was, well, no, he was, okay, he was out of town. I'm sorry, he was out of town. So there we go. Okay, here 5 to 3, 1 to 1 odds with a 3. Move him back here, and we'll stay stuck. And that's nice because that gets that artillery from moving forward. I think I can keep him under control. Here I've got a 3 and 7 is a 10 to 6. So 1 to 1 with a 6. Okay, again, move back. We'll stay right there. Okay, now this one's a big one here. We're going against, oh shoot, I have to go against this guy. Well, that didn't work out quite right because this guy has to fight him, so he can't. So we're going to use the redoubt at full value. We're going to go 7 to 5, 1 to 1 with a 5, moves him back. I should have gone with the first attack, so. And we'll move into position there. Okay, now here I lost that guy. We're going to have 4, and that's going to be 10, 21, and 15 is 35. Nope, he's got to fight there. Okay. 4, 15, 30 to 23. So 1 to 1 odds. This is a crucial roll. 5. Okay. They move back. Okay, here we've got a 6 to 5, 1 to 1 with a 3. Moves him back, and we will move here. 6 to 2, 3 to 1 odds with a 5. Is it defender retreat? Okay, there we go. Now over here we've got a 5, 9, 13, 15 to 2, 6 to 1. So he's going to be eliminated. And we'll move in position there. Okay, that's kind of becoming a. Basically now the Russians' only real hope is to try to eliminate as many of the French as possible at this point. We'll move back here. We'll move here, here, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1. Okay, move those guys into position here. Everybody's around here. I'm trying to keep this redoubt going. Okay, we've got 1 to 2 odds with a 5. So 1 to 2 with a 5 is a attacker retreat. Here we've got 1 to 2 with a 3 attacker retreat. And here we've got 4 to 4, 1 to 1 with a 6 attacker retreat. Here I've got a 4, 7, and 6. 13 to 5, 2 to 1 with a 4. 2 to 1 with a 4 is a defender retreat. He can go here. Nope. I don't know what happened with this when it was being developed, but okay, moving down the line here. Okay, then we're going to go against this 7, and this is actually in a 14. I'm going to use, I can use all of these because I can do him with the 10. So we're going to do that. We're going to go 5, 6, or 10, 8, 12, 19, 20, 21, 22. So 3 to 1, or no, 1 to 1. So I don't need to do that. Okay, 10 and 14. That's all I need here for this 7. So that's going to keep it 1 to 1 odds with a 2. Moves them back. And we will take that little town there. Semyonska. Okay, and then here I'm going to use my 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 to 4, 2 to 1 odds with a 1. 2 to 1 with a 1, move him back. And then here I've got 15, 20 to 6. 3 to 1 odds. And if I did it otherwise, it'd be 10. Wait, no, 10, 15. I used that guy already. Okay, 10, 15. Yeah, that's going to be 3 to 1. 3 to 1 with a 1. Oh, that's defender eliminated. Okay. We'll move here. And then here we've got a 2 to 6, 1 to 3 odds. 1 to 3 with a 1 is an attacker retreat. Okay. I was in the kind of hoping if I could get if I could have got 2 to 1 odds, I could have knocked him there, but that's okay. Okay, that's it for the Russians. We go to 0900, and you can see, man, all the units here. This is a bloody battle. As the French player, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's okay, we're still going to try to keep those guys down. I can move in here. I'm going to save this part for last. This is the puzzle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, how am I going to crack this nut here? We're going to go here, and here, and here. Keep our line steady. Move this guy back, and this guy here, and this guy here. That guy's not in a position where he can do much. Okay, I think that's it for the French turn. So let's go ahead and start up here. 3 to 1 with a 3, defender retreat, so this guy's eliminated. And move him into position. Okay, here we've got a 4 to 1. 4 to 1 with a 6 is an exchange. Ouch, okay, so we've... Exchanges always seem to hurt more than anything. I'd rather lose a unit than have an exchange, but okay. And then 1 to 2. 1 to 2 with the 2 is an attacker retreat. We'll go back to town. Okay, here we've got a 5 to 6. 1 to 2 with a 1, so that sends him back. Don't think I'll step into that trap yet. Here I've got a 7, 14 to 5, 2 to 1 with a 2. Defender retreat. And not going to step in there. That redoubt's still got me a little concerned, but okay. Here I've got 5 and 7, 12 to 4, 3 to 1 odds. With a 1 is a defender eliminated. Oh no, hold on. It's going to be 12 to 8, so 1 to 1 with a 1, so it's defender back. And we will move in again. And then here, I'm going to go right after this guy. So we've got 7, 15, 26, 32 to 5. That's going to be my 6 to 1 odds. And that's going to move him here. And we're going to go here with the to attack here. Worst he can do is move him back. Okay, up here we've got a, I'm going to go ahead with this and make it a 6 to 2, 3 to 1 odds with a 4. Defender retreat. And we'll come into here, and then here I've got 9 to 2, 3 to 1 odds with a 6. Exchange, okay. So 2 and this 4 will be gone. Whoops. Here we go. Where'd you go? Yeah, you just gotta preview of Terrible Swift Sword. I'm going to start working on that one here one of these days. So, okay, French. That's French turn. Now the Russians are going to go. Can't do much here. Gonna go here, and we can fire on that guy. He's best just staying put. And we really want to keep our... I think I'll bring this guy over here, and this guy here. That's about all I can do. These guys, now I don't think that the redoubt units can attack out from this. So basically I'm at 10, 15 to 6, 2 to 1 odds with a 2, and that's going to send him back. And I'm going to move into that position. Wait, hold on a second. Let's do that again. We'll roll the same, but this 3 can, well, no, that'll work. That'll work. Okay. And we will move here. Okay, this 3 is going to go 3 and 5 and 4. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 16, 20, 25 to 14. 25, so 3 to 1 odds with a 6. 3 to 1 with 6 is an exchange. So we lose 7 here. Yeah, that's nice and even. And 7 here. Okay, and yeah, we'll move into that position there. Okay, and then here we've got 1 to 1 odds with a 1, so that moves him back, and we will move back here. Or no, we can't move back. We can only go there, so, and we're not going to do that because that'll just get us encircled. Okay, did I do? Oh, I didn't do this guy. 9 to 4, 2 to 1 odds with a 3. Move him back here. And 2 to 1 odds here with a 3, move him back here, and we'll stay there. Okay, that's it for the Russians. Now we can go to the next game turn. It's 10 o'clock. French are going to go. Okay, that's that side. I'll move him into position here, here, here. And there. And I'll circle those guys. Here I think I'm going to go here, and then across the river here. Okay. Now we're just basically mopping up. So it's almost like a, man, this is almost a double envelopment that we've had. So let's go ahead and start with this one. I've got 2, 4, 5, 7. I'll go with those 7, 8, 9. We'll go 9 to 4. 2 to 1 odds with a 3 is going to be enough to eliminate him. And we will move in here. Okay, and then here I've got 5 to 6, 1 to 2 odds with a 4. Attacker retreat. And then here I've got 7 and we'll go 7 and 5. That's 12 to 3, 4 to 1 odds with a 4. Defender retreat. And we move forward here, and then 1 to 1 odds here with a 4. And that's going to be an attacker retreat. Okay, over here I've got a 6 and 5. It's going to be 1-to-1 with a 6, and that's going to move me back here. Okay, here I'm gonna do these first, and then I'll do this guy. 6, 8, 4-to-1 odds. 4-to-1 with a 2 is a defender eliminated. And then I'll do this guy. 1-to-2. 1-to-2 with a 5 is an 1-to-2 with a 5 is an attacker retreat. So he'll move back. We'll stay put there. And then this guy here is going to be a 5. There's going to be 10, 15, 26, and there's 15. So that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be enough. That's going to be 6-to-1. So that's going to eliminate him. He's going to move in. Actually, 11's going to move in. And that ends the turn. That ends the French turn. Okay. Russians, we're going to have to just go down fighting here. I can move in here. Might be able to eliminate this guy. I'll move this guy here. Okay, let's start with this. I'm going to use the 3 and 10 to get 1-to-1 odds with a 1, so it moves him back. Here I'll do 1-to-1 with a 6. That moves him through, but he's going to take that position. Here I've got 1-to-1 odds with a 5. It's an attack retreat, so nothing there. He's not going to be able to do anything. He's got a 7. And let's start with these two against this guy. So we've got 7, 10, 2-to-1 odds with a 6. Attacker retreat. Okay, that moves him back, and he's going to move in. And then here we've got 1-to-2 odds with a 5. Attacker retreat. Oh, he's going to have to do a little bit of jangling around. And then 6-to-4 odds, 1-to-1 with a 4. Attacker retreat there. That's the only place he can go. Okay. We move to turn 32. And at this point, I think we're going to go here. Got plenty of time, so we're just going to go here, 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 and then we're going to go in place here and here and here. I still want to stay out of the front of the Great Redoubt there. That's just, these hexes are a dangerous place to be. So, okay. Let's start here. We're going to start with the flèches. And basically, I'm going to need at least, once I get 3-to-1 odds, he's eliminated. So I'm going to try to do just 3-to-1. I need 30 of these. So we're going to go 4 and 11. So there's 21 and 15. And we'll do that. We'll just do the 21 here. That's these, and then these 15. So that gives us 36 to 10. That's 3-to-1 odds. And we're going to roll. We don't want any higher because of the exchange. 3-to-1 with a 1 is going to eliminate him. So that's, and we're going to move, oops, okay. Hold on a second. I forgot that there's also those 3 that can defend in there. So it actually has 13. So I need 39. Okay, let's try it here. Try it again. 4 and 10 is 11. We'll still do the same roll, but it'll be the same thing. But let's see if we can just do this right. 21, 31. Yeah, so to add the 7. So these guys will all do it, and then that would eliminate him. 6 will move in here. And then here we're going to go against the, let's go against that 5 there. We got 4 and 5. Well, let's just do 1 to 1 here, and then we'll move against the, so let's start with these guys first. We're going to go 4, 8, 10, 12 to 3, 4 to 1 odds with a 4. Defender retreat. I don't think he can't go anywhere. And we'll move in, and then this 5 to 5, 1 to 1 with a 6. Yeah, that was worth doing because then he got moved back. Okay, here we've got 6 and 5. 2 to 1 odds with a 4. Defender retreat. Can't move there. Can't move there. Oh, hold on. 1 to 1 with a 4. That's attacker retreat. Yeah. Because he's in, I keep missing this little town symbol here, which is something that's happened several times when I've played this. Okay, 5 to 3, or no, it's going to be 3 to 8, 1 to 3. 1 to 3 odds with a 5 is an attacker eliminated. And then over here, we got a 14 to 5, 2 to 1 with a 6, attacker retreat. Okay. Here I've got a 5 to 3, 1 to 1 with a 2. That's going to retreat him, and we will step in there. And then here I have a 10 to 6, 1 to 1 with a 4. That's attacker retreat, so delayed things for another turn. Okay, Russians are up. We'll move here, and I want to keep him in place. Not a lot I can do. We could go down here against that. Try to bring some guys down. Okay, let's start with this one. So we've got we're going to go 3 to 4, 1 to 2 odds. With a 2 is an attacker retreat, but it's not going to count. And then we've got a 5 to 6, 1 to 2 with a 3. And that's an attacker retreat. And so I'm going to snake out here. We're going to stay put in there. Okay. Here I've got a 4, 14, 20 to 5. 4 to 1 odds with the 6. Exchange. Okay. So this 5's going to take him out, and we're going to have to lose our 6. Okay, and that's going to be, oh, in this 5 to 2, 2 to 1 odds with 5. Oh, another exchange, okay. Well, so much for our delaying action. Okay, then we go to our next game turn. Now, we had a unit in the redoubt, so he's going to go here, and I think, let's see, I guess we just have to tighten the noose. Again, we want to stay out of those hexes, but everything else will go here, 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 here. Okay, everybody's moving in. We're just doing end game here. Let's go ahead and start with this unit here, and they've got 10, so I've got to get at least 30 points against him. So we've got 4 and... let's see, 4 and 7's 11, 12, 13, 21, 27, 31. Okay, 31 and 11 is 42 to 5. We'll do 42 to 5. 8 to 1 odds. Oh, 6. That's 6 to 1 odds. Okay, we've reached our 6 to 1 odds. Wait a second. No, that's 4 to 1 odds. Let's see. Let's start over here. We got 4 and 6 is 10 and 11. 21 to 10, and then 21, 25. 30. 33, 34, 35, 42, so 4 to 1 odds. Just don't get a 6. 4 to 1 with a 3. And that's a defender retreat, so he's gone. Okay. Move in, and then we've got 6 and 2 to 1 odds. 2 to 1 with a 2. Doesn't have anywhere he can go, so we'll step in. Here I've got 1 to 2 odds. With a 1, defender retreat, we can move in here. And then here I've got 2, 4, 6, 2 to 1 odds with a 4. He doesn't have anywhere to go. Here I've got 4 to 7. Okay, so 1 to 2 odds with a 3 is an attacker retreat. And here, can't really go anywhere. Here I've got 5 to 4, 1 to 1 with a 4. No, wait, we'll disrupt him. And then here I've got 7 to 5, 1 to 1 with a 6, attacker retreat there. So, okay, Russians can go. Not really much to do other than try to take some guys down with me. That's about all I can do. Okay, 1 to 1 with a 6. I can move there. Here I've got 7 to 2, 3 to 1 with a 4. There's a defender retreat, nowhere he can go, so he's gone. And then here I've got 7 to 2, 3 to 1 with a 3. He moves back. We go to 1300. And at this point, I'm still, okay, I can go against, here I can go, 6, there's my 11, 4, here, move this guy here, this guy here, this guy out, 1, 2, 3, okay, so let's start with this unit right here, and I'm going to go with 11 and 6 and 4. So 21 to 5 to 10. So 2 to 1 odds with a 2. That's a retreat. He can actually retreat through here and here. Okay, and we will move into place here. Here I've got 2 and 6 to 3, 2 to 1 odds with a 5. That sets him back. Here I've got 2, 4, 1 to 1 odds with a 4. That sets them back. And here I've got 1 to 1 odds with a 2. He can go here and then here. And that's the end of turn, so this part of the redoubt's gone. Put my 11 back. Okay, French are going to go again, and we're going to go here, 2, 3, 4, We'll move in place here, 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 here. Okay, and that's going to be it for, and then this guy's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, and this guy can move in. Again, this is just, I'm just delaying the inevitable. Let's start right here with this 5. He's going to have to go with these two. So 7 and 2 is 9 to 5. 2 or 1. Let's see, 9. No, wait, 7, 9, and 7. So 14, 16 to 5. 3 to 1 with a 5. Defender retreat. So he's gone. Okay. Here I've got this 4 and 5, 9 to, or wait, no, we'll get the 11. So we're going to have a 4, a 5 is a 9, and 11 is 22, 10. So 2 to 1 with a 3. That eliminates him. He moves into place. Here I've got a 7 and 8, 15, and 6 is 21. So that's going to automatically eliminate him. Move into place. And then here I've got a 2, 4, 8, 12, 14, 18 to 4, 4 to 1 odds with a 6. Exchange. Okay, he takes them and we'll take him. Moves in. And then basically the Russians have one move they can make. They're going to have to go 10 to 16, 10 to 16, 1 to 2 odds with a 3, and he can go, oh, he can actually escape there. Okay, we go to the next turn, and I think we can pretty much call it, because they're going to surround him and just wolf pack him down, and at that point you can begin to move all these units off. I think that's really boring, just moving the units off of them to try to get points, but pretty clear the French won the game. So, and it followed pretty much the historic precedent. Anyway, that's the game I've got. Like I say, I think this and Austerlitz are really a lot of fun. I kind of enjoy it. This one needs to be balanced. A little bit of more Russian balance would be kind of nice, because in this case, the Russians are just eliminated. I've played this 7 times, and that's always been the outcome. Anyway, that's what I've got this week, and we will talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Bye.